What is up, Empire Builders? Welcome to a brand new video. So in this video, we're going to talk about by far one of the most important things that should be discussed in video, in text, in tweets, in social media this week. And no, it's not the VMAs, my friends. It is the Jackson Hole Central Banking Summit that just occurred. Out of this, we saw some very interesting things. The Jerome Powell speech was very uneventful, quite boring actually, sleepy. But the speech that everyone is talking about and that you should be paying attention to is this conversation that's further discussing central banks bailing on the United States dollar as the global reserve currency and their desire, let's call it, for a digital currency. Whether that's going to be backed by the Facebook Libra or the Renminbi, the RMB, or maybe even possibly the SDR basket that's been around forever. But Mark Carney, the Bank of England's governor, had by far the most lit speech, okay? And his speech was called The Growing Challenges for Monetary Policy in the Current International Monetary and Financial System. Right here, where he spent 23 pages, no less, talking about how the US dollar should not be the global reserve currency anymore. You got to understand something. The Fed is not the government. The banks are not the government. They are two separate entities. Remember, 13 families met in 1913, or 14 families, whatever, met in 1913 on Jekyll Island to create the Fed. It is not government run, okay? And their job is money. They want to make money. We've now had a decade of low interest rates and quote-unquote low inflation, which any inflation is theft, okay? But nonetheless, they think that that's too long, and they want to change that. This is preposterous at the highest level. Here's why. The only time we've ever seen, well, in our immediate history, okay, a change in global reserve currency status is from a war. So it's interesting to me that we're on this path and there's all this talk about war between China and maybe Russia and maybe World War III before President Trump got in. And now we hear almost no talk of that. And so the narrative and the agenda just flip-flops from day to day, and the hunt for division continues, right? But that's neither here nor there. This speech was very, very important. It's when you gotta understand, when these guys talk, you listen to the words that they say and how they use them, because linguistics is extremely important with these people. What words they're saying and how they say them dictates and tells you, has the keys in it right in front of you on what they're going to do in the future. So most people don't know this, but the SDR has been around for, I think, since the early 2000s. I'm digging into this now for a new report for the community, but anyways, the SDR is, I want to say 2013, but maybe it was 2003, and it's pretty much like a dead currency. It's a basket of currencies, I think 7, right? And it kind of was put on ice, and I covered on one of my other channels earlier this year about this dual currency bail-in, where the IMF hints at doing e-money. Here we are again, fast forward, and we're talking about a digital currency. In the meantime, we've also seen the BIS come out and fully support central banks doing a digital currency. We got the IMF on board. We got central bankers talking about it. Many countries are working on their own digital currency now. Okay? We got the Libra project from Facebook, which is just another surveillance tool. That's going to be awful. I hope that doesn't take off, because it's going to be bad for all of us. But anyways, this is extremely important, what they were discussing. There's going to be some links under this video. You can go and read this full email that I sent out this morning. You can subscribe to this email too. It's done through Substack, not mine, but it is for us. Email alerts.substack.com. Free to sign up. Just put in your email address. Every morning this bad boy is sent to your inbox, so you can stay up on macro. All we talk about is macro every day. Now, PBOC, right? People Bank of China. Yeah, People's Bank of China. I always think it's People's Republic, or yeah, People's Republic Bank of China. It's not. I don't know why I think that. PBOC, they're very close to releasing their cryptocurrency. And what is he talking about as a potential good old Mark? He's talking about the Renminbi. the RMB. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, I'll correct myself in text. So what are we doing here? I don't think that they're going to use the Chinese currencies, one of them or any of them. I think they're going to go with the SDR. It makes the most sense for them to use the SDR project because that was supposed to be their one world currency. Remember that when that was a conspiracy theory? Gosh, it seems like so long ago when there was guys, everyone had that uncle, or a friend, your one of your dad's friends or something that we all called the conspiracy theorist, the loony, right? Had a bunch of gold, didn't want to operate in fiat at all. Well, it's turning out that guy was a lot more right than we thought, right? So this is getting close. I find that interesting. There's a ton of other micro breadcrumbs of other central banks working on cryptocurrencies. We obviously see yield curve inversions happening. The Fed ain't making no money off the United States dollar because it's stronger than ever. They don't like that and they want to change it. So what this means, though, is if this change does take place, it's obviously not going to be good. It's not going to be smooth to lose that status because, remember, people are price is people, people are price. So when you're seeing something go green and it's going up, that's people's reactions, that's people's emotions, that's how people are feeling about this stock, whether it's Tesla or the United States dollar against another currency. When it's going down, that means that people have lost trust. They think that there's maybe some bad news or some bad fundamentals come out. So because that's true, you can expect that it's not going to be great at first if something like this does occur. Okay, there'll be some pullback, there'll be some red days, and this could lead to some recessionary environment for a small amount of time. I don't know. I don't know what exactly that looks like, right? I always lean on the side of being prepared, having a plan and working that plan every day, because how can you lose with that? And you got to have contingencies built into the plan. So I'm not going all in on gold. I'm not going all in on real estate. I'm not going all in on Forex or currencies. I'm not going all in on the stock market or cryptocurrencies. I'm going, allocated amount into each one. And I'm going to keep some cash, even though that's stupid. And there's, you're going to lose the most amount of purchasing power with cash. Because if something does happen in 2020 and there's some recessionary event, whether it's tried to forced upon by the Fed because the Fed and the White House aren't in good relations right now, or it's just some sort of organic or black swan event from one of the other global currencies or global economies affecting the U.S. dollar and the U.S. economy, I don't know. But I'd rather be prepared than not be prepared. Powell just the other day, it was last week, announced that he doesn't want any Fed chair being in the public at all. They've canceled all their meetings and speaking events and public appearances, which is very, very interesting. And it proves my point that the Fed is not your friend. It's not the friend of the government. They're not buddies with Trump or the White House. They don't meet up on the weekends and golf. I don't think they like each other at all. And I think this is very interesting. I think a lot of presidents in the past have been terrified of an environment like this because it's not voter friendly usually. But you know what? There's already so much shit that's hitting the fan around the world, and going on right now that I think people have had enough, and I think they want the change. So who knows? Maybe there will be very little blowback if this pivot occurs because maybe people have woken up by then. Maybe between now and then there's going to be all kinds of people waking up and getting red-pilled, let's call it, to the fact that the Fed was never created to be a fair system or a just system. It was created to siphon money out of your pocket and mine to somebody else. That's it. That's it. They're in the money game. They're in the money business, okay? And they've got it cornered. So, yeah, it's interesting what came out of that. And it's interesting so bluntly for them to just talk about, well, we're just sick of this being a global reserve currency. We want something different. That's the interesting part to me. Because like I said, that doesn't happen unless there's war and there's an outcome of that war. And the victor or based on the economic turmoil that's created from that war, a new global reserve currency is established. To just say we're sick of not making money and we want a new one. I'm surprised nobody's talking about this, right? Like, how is this not headline news? You got some news organizations that are trying to push this narrative that we're going into a recession because these yield curves, when a lot of the other indicators are showing expansionary or neutral. you don't have them covering this. So it kind of shows you where they sit, where they lie. They're not looking at data for data's sake and just being journalists. I can assure you of that. But there you go. There you have it. There's my thoughts on this. Spread this video around. I think it's really important. We need to talk about this more. We need to understand what's going on with this. I think most people in the US need a serious economic 101 lesson on how this shit actually works, how the exchange of value works, what fiat actually is. And yeah, we can help do that by spreading this video. So go ahead, give us a like, comment below if you got something to say, subscribe to the channel. This is a brand new channel. Subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. See ya.